Viewpoints on episode 19. Big week. Lots of stuff to talk about, so let's just get right into it. Right. The Oscars were Sunday. I think overall, what do you think?
First of all, Hugh Jackman as host. I think he was okay, aside from the hideous opening musical number.
Yeah.
I mean, that was just painful. Besides that, and then he did a musical number later in the show with Beyonce and the High School Musical kids, and that didn't work for me at all. Yeah. It was ridiculous. Thinking that they couldn't give Peter Gabriel enough time to perform his song, but...
They could give that time for that crap.
Yeah. But other than that, I thought he did a pretty good job.
Yeah, he did a good job, I thought. Not the Be Kind Rewind kind of opening was, silly. a little much, but... overall, for the show, though, I would say it was probably one of the most boring shows ever.
Oh, my God. It was so just like... That's generally why they have the performances of the original song nominees, is to break up that show, because it's such a boring, dry show of just people making speech after speech. Yeah. You need a little something every
And it was just that, but the overall thing where there was almost no surprises.
Slumdog Millionaire won everything.
Yeah, like everything that we kind of guessed was right. And everything that was going in we were sure of was right.
Even when somebody won who we didn't pick, the person who won was our second pick.
Yeah, so no, it was either or.
Yeah,
so
it was never any
no real surprises. I think the only real surprise was foreign language film.
That was probably a surprise.
But that's not even a surprise to the general movie-going public that could care less.
They don't care about foreign language film. No.
Let's talk about because I took many notes.
Tim
you can
took
see I took lots of notes.
I keep my notes up here when they're safe.
So we'll start with the red carpet arrivals. The first note I wrote was I forget who was interviewing Miley Cyrus, and they're like, "Oh, you have a movie coming out." She's like, "Oh yeah, the Hannah Montana movie, and hopefully I'll be back here next year for that."
Yeah.
And I was thinking,
there's a possibility that one of her little songs could get nominated, I suppose. But there's no way she's coming back to the Oscars next year for the Hannah Montana movie.
Yeah. The other thing is the whole supporting and acting things where they had all those people come and everything. At first I was really annoyed by that. I'm like, just show a scene of their work that like really just shows their work. I think by the end I kind of liked it, but the first couple I'm like, okay, it just sounded like scripted.
To say, I really enjoyed that. I mean, I was skeptical going in because I kind of liked the tradition that the previous year winner presents to the next person. I like that. But I like that a lot. And so I was skeptical. But I kind of like the idea also that it was a surprise and you didn't know which 5 previous winners were going to
Well, if you watched the red carpet, you'd figure it out.
A couple of them, yeah. And then you watch the show. Like, by the time they got to Best Actor, I had figured out 3 of them because I had just seen them in the crowd. So it's like, okay, well, obviously they're here for that. But, I kind of dug that. I like that they tried something different.
Yeah. The other thing that kind of annoyed me when they were showing like the winners or like the things, and they had like this blue background of movies, and so like they're showing supporting actresses, and it was like Kung Fu Panda was in the background, and I'm like, could you have made like a specific one for each? Show a scene of all the supporting actresses. That kind of annoyed me. I was telling Stephanie this week, right before I would say like 15 minutes for the Oscars, I just got done watching Vicky Cristina Barcelona.
Oh, yeah.
Just because I made a real attempt to at least see one full category. And I thought she was the worst one out of the bunch. And so she won, which was...
But people love, the Academy loves Woody Allen, so...
Yeah. I liked how they did the nominees for screenplay. How they showed the screenplay. And that was really cool and inventive. And also, with Steve Martin and Tina Fey, one of the very few really just funny moments of the whole show. They probably wrote them themselves because obviously no one else did.
That wasn't there.
And they had like the animation of the year.
When they were presenting animated movie, they were showing like all the different animated movies that came out in 2008.
But then they showed Star Wars, Clone Wars, which
was like such an awful movie that is like.
And so I was wondering why they couldn't show the animated shorts. Just like a little thing of all the animated shorts in there, just
because most people don't care.
Well, yeah, but no one cared about Star Wars, Clone Wars either, so...
But people know it, though, I suppose.
The 81 logo was really lame. Like
with the 8 in the Oscar?
That was really lame.
Well, now you're just nitpicking.
Yeah, I'm really nitpicking. And then they had music playing when people were presenting. So like Daniel Craig's talking, and there's music playing in the background, and it was just so like
I
it
didn't
was just
find it
distracting.
that I didn't find it that distracting.
It was distracting the crap out of me. The romance montage. I had a real problem with the romance montage because they showed what happened in Vegas, High School Musical, Nick and Nora, Twilight. But there's like no Zack and Miri, which I think we all agreed was like a really romantic movie.
I think we know why they didn't show Zack and Miri.
Yeah, but they showed freaking what happens in Vegas. Like that's just
I found some of those montages were like really, and this is probably the Oscars air on ABC, so they can do what they want. The romance one was very Wall-E heavy.
Oh, yeah, it was.
So hey.
Yeah, but everyone said that was one of the romantic movies of the year. So
I get that, but the Oscars air on ABC and Wall-E's a Disney movie, and so they get the most time. It just seemed a little,
And then we're talking about that narrative idea they had where they tried to explain how a movie was made.
I like that. You said it was out of order, which is fine, but I just like the idea that they grouped the categories together the way they should be grouped together. So you do costume design and art direction and all that stuff at once. Will Smith comes out. He presents all the effects movies at once because he's a big action star. Yeah. I kind of like that.
Yeah, but they were saying like, here's how to make a movie, and they're like, okay, and next comes this. But obviously, a director would become
right. But
all
they
of
gotta
this, so.
save director for last.
So it's just if you're gonna do it, you gotta do it. That's just my thing.
Again,
and then the action montage, they showed Death Race on the Oscars.
Yeah.
No.
It was one of the big action movies of the year.
No, it was not.
Well. I'm just saying. I think you're nitpicking the show.
I'm nitpicking the crap out of it. So I didn't want to watch it, and I told you I'm watching it
so
just for
why did you watch it?
Journalistic purposes. Because you'd just be talking for 10 minutes by yourself then.
Well, I have to say a couple things that I enjoyed.
Okay, good.
I liked how the stage was designed, where it was sort of like an intimate club, and everybody was really close. The people sitting in the front were really close to the stage. I like that. I also, I thought Ben Stiller's Joaquin Phoenix impression was hilarious.
I think it went on a little too long, but.
I mean, he really stayed in character. I mean, maybe he could have, when she was announcing the nominees, then they came back to announce the winner, he could have been Ben Stiller then. Yeah. But, I thought that was hilarious, and the crowd seemed to love it. Queen Latifah singing I'll Be Missing You, or I'll Be Seeing You during the In Memoriam. It didn't add or detract from it. They said they were going to turn down the microphone on the audience, and they didn't do that. And I was a little annoyed, and I was just wondering if there was some reason why they couldn't do that with her singing live on stage. It wasn't going to work out, but I was a little annoyed that they didn't do that, because it's always one of my least favorite parts of the show is you get sort of this applause meter on
of course,
people
Newman
who
got
died.
the most, applause.
Well, yeah, which I understand, but
Well, the thing I didn't like about that is they kept showing wide shots, like of her singing, and you could barely read who it was because they showed it such a wide shot.
Well, they did that for the sort of the lesser known people, the studio executives.
Well,
and
Michael Crichton got a wide shot too.
Well,
I only know what he looks like, so he wrote Jurassic Park. Okay?
I know who Michael Crichton is. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but he deserves more. So, and the other thing I just didn't understand was the music. How they had Indian dancers for the Wall-E song.
Well, because they put all the original song nominees together in one medley, which is why John Legend was singing instead of Peter Gabriel. And I get why Peter Gabriel dropped out, because that was an awful, awful way to do the nominees. And not just for Peter Gabriel's sake, for the other two songs from Slumdog Millionaire that were nominated, I feel like if you get nominated for an Oscar, every single song deserves its due.
It does.
At the very least, I could understand if they give one performance for Wall-E and then one performance for Slumdog Millionaire, because at least those songs are in similar styles. But putting all three together just seemed ridiculous. But again, they had time for that hideous musical number with Hugh Jackman and Beyonce.
Yeah, I didn't like that either. One thing that kind of made me smile was Sean Penn smiling. It was like,
Sean Penn was super
he was happy and
super
like,
cool.
Yeah.
I just want to take a moment. We don't get into the gossip stuff here a lot, but I know that Sean Penn and his wife were separated, and then they got back together. And I saw them on the red carpet, and they seemed like they couldn't possibly be more in love. And then when he won, there was a fantastic shot that the director took where it was over his shoulder, and he was accepting, and his wife was right there in the background, and it was really a beautiful moment.
Yeah, it was. So there's the Oscars.